For more than 40 years, John Quattrone has relied on the values of a Moyne Jesuit education in his life and in his career. As Senior Vice President of Global Human Resources for General Motors, those values have served him well throughout a career that has brought him to the pinnacle of his field. Born and raised in Syracuse, John grew up in a modest home on Salt Springs Road, literally down the street from Moyne College. In 1969, he came to the Heights to study accounting and soon switched to labor relations. After earning his degree from Moyne in 1974, John's father, who worked for General Motors at the Fisher Body plant in Syracuse, suggested that he work over the summer at the plant before going to graduate school. John worked the graveyard shift that summer on the assembly line and returned a year later after getting his master's degree at West Virginia University. Since that time, he has held various positions in HR and labor relations at GM. In 2014, General Motors CEO Mary Barra promoted John to his current position.
I have known John for many, many years, almost my entire career. In fact, he says we first met when I was on my first regular assignment at the Fierro assembly plant.
Her first move, if you will, was to find an HR chief that the people trusted, that the people knew had great integrity, and would treat them with dignity and respect. And she chose John Quattrone, who imbues Jesuit values.
In the Jesuit vernacular, we talk about something called cura personalis, which is care for the whole person. In the case of John Quattrone, he cares deeply about all people throughout the massive, complex organization that is General Motors.
John is a special person, and he's really just been a true asset to General Motors throughout his career, wherever he worked. And the fundamental reason is because he cares so much about people.
John's the first one to ask, how's your family doing? How are things going?
We hit it off from day one. And this is entirely due to John's great personality, his genuine concern for others, and his integrity.
He understands people, he understands diversity, he understands this company, he knows how to get things done, and because of that, he commands great respect, and people look up to him.
John is an amazing person. He has an ability to go into any room and feel comfortable with all of the people, regardless of the subject and their backgrounds. He's just very, very good at making people feel that they're important and what they're doing matters.
I became president on July 1, 2014, and immediately after being named president, I decided I wanted to meet with John Quattrone, and he was the very first alumnus with whom I met as a new president.
John is very proud of his Syracuse roots, his family. He speaks often about his father and mother and his 4 brothers.
I felt an immediate connection with John. We're both native Syracusans, and that means something to Syracusans.
John is the product of his environment at home, his upbringing, and the product of a Jesuit education.
John asked me when I first met with him, what can I do to help? What do I need to do to get engaged with my alma mater? And the first thing I said to him was, John, you told me that the institution had a profound impact on your life and your life's work. I want you to come back to campus.
He could not wait to meet the students. That was the joy of his day. And before he left, 2 students had internships for that summer. At the end of that summer, I went to visit him to see how the students were doing. He turned to me and said, Jim, they're superstars. They're fighting over them. They're going to have 2 and 3 job offers. So this has been an incredible reconnection with John.
I arrived actually at an off-site meeting one time, and I was parking my car and I saw the worst ever Corvette color combination that I've ever seen, and thought, how could anyone have ordered that? It went out of my mind. I parked the car, went into the meeting, and then at lunchtime it became clear that it was John's car. So ever since that time, I've always ribbed him about his terrible taste in color and trim. And more importantly, that car I still think is actually in company stock, because no one is crazy enough to buy it.
Think about John's trajectory. Here's an individual who worked on the plant. He saw how people labored day in and day out to make an extraordinary, world-class product, the pride of the United States of America, American-made cars. And he worked his way all the way up the ladder, understanding the hierarchy of an organization, and how lives are impacted on a daily basis in different parts of the organization.
So he knows the team. He knows what makes you tick, and he really helps each of us perform at our fullest extent as well. So, he's really got a special talent of knowing people and helping them achieve their very best.
You'll often see John walking through the buildings, sitting down, talking to people, really understanding, how do people feel? And that's his biggest strength, is that he is the voice of the people.
He kept talking about the impact of ethics and having integrity in his life's work, and it's clear as a function of his success at General Motors that he took those lessons to heart.
John, congratulations on your recognition from Moyne College. Well deserved after a long and distinguished career at General Motors.